Good evening, StarCraft fans. Matt here with Matt and Steve SC, doing some solo cast for you today of the Shinhan Pro League, which is not something that I know we normally do. We've pretty much stuck to the OSL for most of this, but I wanted to do this strictly off of what the final game, who is playing in the final game. And I'm not going to tell you, I don't know what happens in any of these games at all. I don't know who beats who or anything like that. I just know who plays in the final game. I'm not even going to tell you what game that is. Yeah, I just am really excited for that game. And I thought, well, I could be lame and just cast that game, or I could cast all of the games. So we're starting off here. This is SKT1 or SK Telecom versus the Woongjin Stars. And this is going to be Fantasy versus MVP. Fantasy's who we're looking at right now. He is the teal Terran. And I'm sorry. MVP is the tan Terran. Fantasy is the blue Terran. There's not even teal on this map. I am a moron. Okay, so we're just going to stick with that there. Yeah, you know, Terran versus Terran tends to start fairly slow, and I'm more doing this for fun, so don't expect a ton of really in-depth stuff. I didn't spend a bunch of time researching like we normally do before cast, but I really wanted to see the final game in this series, and so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and cast these going before. One thing that was interesting, I was looking up on Team Liquid to see if I could find the overall team scores, just to kind of see. Oh, and somebody's calling me on my phone. Fantastic! I didn't even turn off my phone. Sorry about that, folks. I was looking to see what the team ratings would be, and I didn't see them. I couldn't find them anywhere on Team Liquid, so I don't know what team is in the lead as far as this goes, as far as the Pro League goes. If somebody has a great link for where that is, or if maybe I just somehow missed it on Team Liquid, then go ahead and feel free to let me know. But one thing that's for sure, SK just has a lot of good players, just a heck of a lot of good players. Let me see here. Best Bisu, the late boxer, well, not meaning he's dead, but Kanata, Fantasy, and it looks like we're gonna have the okay, people stop calling me, stop texting me. I need to put my phone into airplane mode here. All right, let me go ahead. Sorry guys, this is a little unprofessional. All right, second factory going up right now. We do see a deviation in builds. I haven't really been talking as much about the game, so I apologize. But it looks like Fantasy is going to go more aggressive here, and then we have the command center going up for MVP. So MVP going to try to make it a little bit of a longer game. Of course, I'm sure as you guys have seen, Terran games can tend to go longer just because of this slow start right here. There's no, I mean, really, I mean, the only fast builds you can do as a Terran, I mean, I suppose you can go for like a proxy barracks and be insane, but a kind of a popular aggressive build is like a two-factory vulture push, where you get two factories, you throw it on the machine shop on both factories, and you instantly upgrade speed of mines and then just pump vultures like crazy. We do know that Fantasy does love his vultures, so that is something that he tends to do very well, is some early game harassment with vultures. Both players just kind of trying to do little things with their SCVs and the Marines, but not doing a whole lot. Alright, my phone is officially on airplane mode, so I'll not be getting calls. And bunker going up, so MVP getting a little nervous here of a possible aggressive push, so actually putting up a bunker, very interesting there. Of course, MVP being a much lesser player than Fantasy is, so I'm not really surprised. MVP himself has an overall 38% win rate. Let me see here, Fantasy sitting at 58%. I'm not sure what that means. Something about SK Telecom apparently, because that's what I heard. Let me just see here. MVP versus Terran. So Terran versus Terran. Let me see what his percentage is. 40%. Whereas we have here for Fantasy 61%. Yeah, Fantasy's generally fairly good at Terran versus Terran games. One game that I'm really looking forward to, that you guys all should be too. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the recent Much games. This doesn't really have much to do with, doesn't have much to do with this game. But Much has been doing great. There's a great article on SE2GG called Damn Kids Get Off My Lawn, the return of the Grandpa Toss. That's one of Much's nicknames. In fact, I think Much actually heard that and wasn't very happy about it. But oh well, Much is back with a badass haircut on Ace. And he's had some really strong play. Anyways, in a few days, he is going to be rematching against Firebat Hero. And I am really excited about that because I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but he is responsible for Much is responsible for the Pylon Heart that owned Firebat Hero, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. Actually, it might even be more than that. But anyways, awesome game. It looks like their game is going to be played on the 12th, so actually in 2 days. And it is going to be Samson Kong versus Air Force Ace, of course. And it's the 4th game in the set, so I hope they get to a 4th game because there could be a 3-0. I don't think there's going to be a 3-0 looking at the players who are playing, so... Alright, Fantasy, of course, has the Vultures out and ready to go, as he does. Expansion is up a little bit later, of course, than MVP's expansion. Let me just see... Alright, an attack coming in. MVP, of course, with a lot less Vultures, or a few less Vultures right now, just because he did go for the extra factory a little bit later. Looks like 3 factories up right now for MVP. I didn't pay attention to Fantasy. Fantasy does have the tank out earlier, which is pretty good. Fantasy looks like just 2 factories right now, unless I'm missing one here, and the army as well. So not spinning right now, though, so not getting any sort of upgrades or anything like that. Another build that I've seen, Terran. Whoa, MVP majorly macroing up. You could probably hear the expression from the Korean commentators there. 5 factories here. And of course, I think he feels like he can do that, which I don't blame him, because he was able to get up that early expansion much earlier. They're showing the comsats going up, and where Fantasy, of course, is going to be scanning to try to see if to see what MVP is doing. So Fantasy at this point doesn't know that, and that is big time macro. I mean, if MVP can hold off Fantasy, which he's going to be able to do fairly easily for another few minutes, he is going to start rolling out. Which I mean, I would expect Fantasy to win a game like this. Certainly, I say Fantasy definitely has the better micro in a match like this. And Fantasy, of course, is going to start macroing up fairly quickly as well. But there we go. A lot more Vultures coming out. A ton of Vultures coming out for MVP. Huge attack going in here. A lot of Vultures. All the Vultures going to be able to overpower those tanks. Good tank micro. No, tanks getting quite a few kills here. There's mines that aren't doing anything, but just too many Vultures. This is going to be really close. Of course, the tank's much more powerful here. Is Fantasy going to get any reinforcements? Fantasy coming out with the victory, and more Vultures coming out. So not a bad little attack by MVP. MVP still has slow Vultures, though, compared to... Actually, are they slow? Maybe not. I couldn't really tell there. Fantasy... Wait, is he destroying... Oh, that's MVP's